My boyfriend refused to cook for himself, so I dumped him.
I'm not your mom.
So I, 27 female, was talking with my boyfriend, 31 male, and he said that every night he doesn't want to have to cook after his long day at work, so he therefore will be eating at his mom's every night. He also works from home, so he would not be hanging out with me, and he is moving into his house soon. By the way, this comes from Narrow Opposite 5737, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Sophia.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We're just going to guess what we would do in this situation, so let us know what you would do down below. While I can understand and appreciate that it sucks to cook for yourself, it feels extremely unattractive to have someone say that they don't want to cook for themselves, especially after spending a decade cooking for myself every meal, every day. I work 12-hour shifts, and I just think, how would this be if we were together long term? Would I do all the cooking? I guess probably that's a deal breaker. I like cooking for my partner, but it sort of seems like it's not something that he's ever going to do, maybe. The question is, would I be the a-hole if I break up with him over text and tell him why honestly when I do? Or is it less a-hole-ish to say it's me, not him? For context, I am his girlfriend. And we do have a couple edits, but what's our answer to that for so far?
No, I mean, the fact that she's already thinking about it,
Yeah.
I'm like, probably not that invested in this relationship anyway.
Yeah, I wonder how long they've been together.
I can't imagine it was that long.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like you should break up in person, though.
Yes.
Over
I
text would be the only way that you're the a-hole.
agree. Yeah.
And
I
be
agree with
honest,
that.
though, too, actually.
I think you can say, yeah, I feel like you weren't, I didn't feel like we were partners.
Yeah.
Didn't feel like you were contributing equally.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I was worried that this burden would be placed on me for the rest of our relationship.
Yeah, exactly. I think you would be the a-hole for doing it over text and for lying and saying that it's him or it's you, not him, but not the a-hole for being honest. We do have little edits. Am I the a-hole if I tell him that it physically repulsed me when he said it?
Well, yeah, maybe don't have to go that far.
Yeah, we can still be nice about it.
We can tell the truth,
Yeah.
but not the full truth.
Sure. Edit number 2, for anyone asking how long we've been together, we've been dating for about a month, talking/seeing each other for about 4 months.
Oh, you break up with this guy.
Yeah,
fine.
you're good,
a month?
dude.
You're
Yeah.
fine.
You're totally fine. He was a virgin, and I'm taking this breakup thing seriously because I feel horrible breaking his heart, but I am also thoroughly disgusted. Edit number 3, he's a work-from-home accountant. I commute an hour and work as a nurse in a very physically and emotionally demanding field. I expect my partner to pick up the slack when I'm exhausted, as I would do for him. When he said this to me, it was like a bomb being dropped on me. Every excuse I had made for him just sort of shattered. I can't even muster the force to text him back because I'm so repulsed, but I have 3 night shifts coming up, so I guess I'll just pretend for now. We do have an update, but really quick on that, I feel like there's a way to be nice about it.
Yeah.
Maybe have a conversation even at first. And you could still have a conversation with the idea that you're still going to break up with him. But maybe ask him what that might look like in the future. And then you can be like, yeah, I don't think that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I don't think we're aligned.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, so they've been talking for 4 months. Are they official boyfriend and girlfriend?
I think so. I think that's the 1 month.
I think when you're official boyfriend and girlfriend, you gotta do it in person.
Yes.
If you were talking for a month, I'd be like, you could do over the phone or text. That's fine.
Right.
But official boyfriend and girlfriend, gotta do in person.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that you could start the conversation and say hey, I noticed some things. I don't know if we quite align.
Because maybe this is something important for him to know in the future,
but he doesn't have a lot of relationship experience.
Exactly. But you don't need to, there's a very nice way to say it. But we do have another update. I don't know Reddit rules, but I said this to someone who was saying that I was cruel, and I really want to share this. I liked this man. I was falling in love with him. I posted on Reddit because I care. The fact that a 31-year-old man has no interest in cooking for himself physically repulsed me, maybe because of past relationships, maybe because there are other underlying things that are adding up. I'm not sure right now. All I know is that when I entered the relationship, I thought I saw a mature, intelligent young man who was ready to start a life with a person who he found equally appealing. Now, I see a spoiled man-child who will have me cooking and cleaning for the rest of my life because he had such a long day at work. There is a woman who is prepared to do every single bit of the emotional, spicy-related physical labor that is involved with rearing children, running a family, teaching someone how to love. I need a partner, not a child. Partners share the burden of life's tasks. When I'm down, I see my partner to lift me up and vice versa. So most of these comments are correct. right. It is a huge red flag, and I'm better off focusing on taking care of myself and maybe purchasing my mom and stepdad's home so they can finally retire and my brother and his partner have a stable living situation. Regrettably, I do think that it was a mistake posting this. I appreciate the comments from everyone, but no one told me what I wanted to hear because the comments aren't from him. Ultimately, what I wanted to hear from him is that he would try, and that's not what he told me today when I called. I am a nasty woman in his world. As much as that hurts me, I've known for a while that I need to learn to let go and leave. This was just an exercise in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was only a month.
Right.
It's not, you're gonna be, obviously I'm sure it hurts right now.
Yeah.
You'll be fine in 2 months.
Exactly. If I hurt your feelings in the comments, I'm sorry. I'm just heartbroken. And there are some relevant comments. Does the boyfriend know how to cook? Opie says he knows how to cook. He told me he does sometimes at home and even has made donuts and other random things during the vid. He knows how, he just doesn't want to do it, I guess. What's really going on? I guess he just expects me to cook for him and do the traditional woman's role. Another commenter says, info, does he cook when he hangs out with you? Does he know how to cook? Have you been invited to meet his mom and see their dynamic? It's definitely worth having a conversation about. He invited me for lunch for pancakes one day, which I thought was odd. I couldn't go because he asked me the night before and I had plans. He told me he has made donuts, stir fry, soup, banana bread. He isn't incapable from what he says. His mom was the matriarch 100%. He was silent the entire time. His dad and sister seemed happy-go-lucky. I could tell mom was judging me, but not that there was anger, just curious and maybe a slight judgmental air. It wasn't a long interaction though, just like an hour tops. And we do have an update 2 from 3 days later.
Ooh-wee.
Oh boy. Yeah, I feel like
It's over. That's okay.
it's over. And that
Yeah.
kind of would make sense if he was used to his mom cooking for
Sure.
everything, to the point where like he's 31 and he's like, I'm gonna have my mom cook for me every
Yeah.
single night now. Maybe that is something that he grew up with, was his mom and like seeing that role of like the woman doing all the cooking. So yeah, I feel like it's probably not a
Yeah.
big jump to assume that.
My advice for UOP is to find a person who's a better cook than you.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's great.
But we do have a second update from 3 days later. So I liked this man a lot, but ultimately didn't see anything long term, and I broke up with him today.
Nice.
And I hope you never break up with us, and you still listen to full episodes with stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. He basically said, okay. And I said I wanted to tell him why, but he said no. I said that's kind of something a man that cycles through women / doesn't have long-term relationships would say. Not a man who's never had a girlfriend and is breaking up with his first one would say. So I proceeded to tell him what he said and what it meant to me when he said it. This man proceeded to gaslight me into believing that he never said that, and that he was just innocent, and that I'm just trying to be cruel to him. He then said that he didn't intend on being more independent, which basically contradicts the gaslighting. So I blocked him, and that's the update. My feelings are hurt and my mind is spinning, hoping to find peace again soon. And there are some comments. Comment number 1 says, plenty of fish in the sea. And some of us even cook. Someone else responds, how are you on washing dishes? Opie says, excellent. I also cook great and do all other chores no problem, but I need a partner that can share responsibilities, especially if they want a child, but also because of my work schedule, and I made that clear from the beginning. He just conveniently didn't remember that, I guess. In short, I like cooking, but my work schedule and hopes in life dictate that I need an adult who is willing to cook. It's super easy to warm up a frozen pizza. Comment number 2 says, still not the a-hole. I'm sure he and his mom will be very happy together. Opie says, I'm positive she is telling him how villainous I am as we speak. Comment number 3 says, as someone who's 20 years older than you, I can say that at 4 months, he was showing you who he really is. You're smart to prioritize being equal partners with someone. You can leave the man baby to his mama. Comment number 4 says, the fact that he works from home while she's working 12-hour shifts as a nurse and he'd still expect her to cook for him? Effing yikes. OP says, 100%. it still really hurt. I wonder if there even are men who are equal partners at this point in my life. There are good men, I know some, but there are so few. Someone else responds, I don't think it's productive to tell him why you're breaking up with him. It's always something you've been complaining about for a while and he chose to ignore. He won't change. He'll just do a better job of manipulating the next person. Someone else responds, 100% she's right to break up, but it would be weird to be upset that he doesn't want to hear it. She knows that he doesn't want to hear it. She knows he didn't care enough. He was a crappy boyfriend, and that's that. But her being upset about him not wanting to grow and talk it out after she dumped him is unnecessary energy and stress. And that's the end of that story. I mean, like, yeah, I guess, but
they're always gonna feel bad to have something broken off.
Yeah.
My boyfriend's best friend confessed his feelings for him, and it was chaotic.
Oh boy.
My boyfriend, 28 male, and I, 32 female, have been together for 3 years. He is insanely social, and I am more of a stay in and do crafts kind of person, but it works. Recently, our schedules have been pretty opposite, and we usually only see each other 3 days a week. By the way, this comes from Dogs Know Better Than Us, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Angie.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. He has a best friend, Thomas, 33 male, who is recently going through a divorce with a woman and has been spending a lot of time with him. I've always gotten the vibe that Thomas was queer in some form, just by the way he talks about men. He recently came out to my boyfriend and told him it's the real reason for his divorce. My boyfriend is very straight and doesn't really know a lot about queer people, but I have a ton of queer friends and told him to be extra sensitive and treat Thomas like he is no different. When my boyfriend told me about Thomas, I said that I was proud of him for living his true life, but hopefully the soon-to-be ex-wife is doing okay. They have been spending a lot of time together, and Thomas frequently stays over at his place because he works in the city but lives like 45 minutes away. Since they work together, I understood the convenience factor and I was happy they were having fun. My boyfriend left out a major part of Thomas coming out, in my opinion. Thomas also said he's had a crush on my boyfriend since they met and has feelings for him. That's a big part to leave out.
That is.
I asked when he told him that, and he said around a month ago. I know my boyfriend wouldn't cheat, and I am very confident he doesn't have feelings for men in general, but the thought of someone crushing on him, drinking with him, and sleeping over doesn't feel great to me. I don't ever want to be the type of partner that isolates someone from a friend, but I want to set a boundary. I'm not sure what that boundary needs to be because based on my initial reaction, my boyfriend said he'll just stop hanging out with Thomas. And I said I'm not asking him to do that. I explained to him that if I had someone who had a crush on me sleep over regularly, he would feel weird about that. And he agreed. I really don't know how to handle the situation and feel like I almost sound closet guard, setting boundaries after Thomas just came out. Advice, and there are some relevant comments. Comment 1 says, if nothing else, it's not healthy to spend this much time with someone you fancy, who is in a relationship where it will never happen. OP says, this was my thought too. It definitely doesn't feel like Thomas respects our relationship right now. Comment 2 says, I get the impulse on a boundary, but it's not your place, it's his. Tell him you're uncomfortable, sure, but don't also set the rules. See what rules he sets, and then talk about it. The rules will cause a wedge if you set them, but I'll thank you for supporting him if he sets the same rule for himself. Respect your partner's autonomy, even though it's challenging here. OP says, thank you for this. One thing I love about our relationship is we don't try to control each other and respect each other's lives outside of one another. I think my boyfriend can be a bit of a people pleaser and literally just laughed and said, sorry, I'm not into dudes, when Thomas confessed his feelings. I hope he has a deeper discussion with Thomas about these feelings he has and what that means for their friendship moving forward. Comment 3 says, how could that be his best friend and he didn't know he was attracted to guys all this time? OP says, I think Thomas played the straight guy for a long time. He's been married to a woman for like 8 years, so I guess it could have been overlooked. And there is an update. I think there are many cases where people don't know that they're queer.
Like especially straight people tend to have a worse gaydar. So.
Yeah, you're not gonna like look, especially with a person that you've known for so long and who's married to a woman.
Right.
It's
like, well, I was at their wedding. I kind of believed him. Like,
and also a lot of times, even if someone is like maybe more like effeminate, or something, you kind of like, well, that's just how he is. And he's married to a woman, so I'm not gonna think twice about it. So there's a lot of reasons why people don't assume. But there is an update, folks. 3 days later, a few of you asked for an update. So here it goes. Some of you thought my boyfriend was secretly queer. Some of you thought I was a controlling witch. But the majority of you told me I just needed to have a long talk with my boyfriend And that's what I did. I work at a cafe a few blocks away from my boyfriend's place, and luckily they let me have an hour-long break. I got my boyfriend a breakfast sandwich and told him we really need to talk about Thomas. He responded with, "Yes, we definitely do." I told him that I know he's not a cheater, and I don't think anything would happen between the two of them. But Thomas always sleeping over when I'm unavailable is making me uncomfortable. He told me Thomas was making him uncomfortable too, and he just hasn't taken the time to process all of this. He told me that he has a story from his childhood that he was deeply ashamed of. Basically, his good childhood friend came out to him freshman year and also said he had feelings for him. My boyfriend responded very badly and told him to never talk to him again.
Aww.
He said his friend ended up quitting sports and getting severely depressed, and when he tried to apologize after high school, the friend told him he does not accept it. My boyfriend had tears in his eyes telling me this and said that he will never forgive himself for acting so cruel. He then broke down the exact conversation he had with Thomas. He said he was telling Thomas about a fun day we had at this local fair and how on the Ferris wheel he was looking at me and realized he wants to spend the rest of his life with me. He said Thomas gave him a strange look and told him he needed to tell him something. Thomas told him that the reason he is getting divorced is because he is attracted to men and was never attracted to his wife. That's when he proceeded to tell my boyfriend that he's insanely attracted to him and he's his exact type of man. My boyfriend said he tried to respond basically opposite of his freshman self and just thanked him for being honest and open about himself. My boyfriend told me he realizes he should have told him explicitly that he doesn't feel the same, but figured Thomas would know that based on the way he talks about me. One thing I had completely forgotten about is that Thomas is technically his boss now. That does make it a little complicated.
It sure does.
I remember us all celebrating his promotion, but I didn't put it together that he was his boss. My boyfriend told me he felt pressure to still let him crash all the time at his place because of his divorce, and he tried to just pretend he didn't admit having feelings for him for the sake of their friendship. My boyfriend then had a talk with Thomas, and it didn't go well. He told Thomas that he would never have those feelings for him, and the sleepovers feel kind of weird now. Thomas blamed me and started calling me a controlling, harmful partner.
Gosh.
But my boyfriend shut it down and told him that this was all coming from him, and he should just start looking for his own apartment in the city. Later that night, I got a call from Thomas. I could tell he had been drinking a lot, but I hoped he was calling to apologize or at least compromise. That was not the case.
No.
He started off by saying that my boyfriend could do so much better than me and that I'm just a scrappy gold digger.
Oh my God.
My boyfriend and Thomas work in finance and I work at a cafe, so yes, my boyfriend makes a lot more money than me, but I still pay my own way in life. Thomas went on to say my boyfriend should be with someone in the same tax bracket as him. Ugh. And then told me, "You're really not as pretty as you think, and you dress like a poor person."
What?
Dude, stop.
If you're so like high and rich and you're in your fancy new promotion, then get your own place.
Yeah.
You're being a gold digger by crashing in his house.
It's someone else's. Yeah, not my boyfriend. Go
Yeah.
get your own boyfriend and your own place.
Yeah.
It pissed me off, so I told him he sounded like a snob. And he's only saying this because my boyfriend basically rejected him. He then told me that if he would have made a move at the right time, he could have convinced my boyfriend to cheat, which I found insanely creepy. Yeah, that's so creepy.
Jeez.
Literally, why would anyone ever say that to someone?
These are also just all like stupid insults.
Yeah. He then started going off on a misogynistic rant about how women are just trying to trap all the attractive men and we're all horrible, blah, blah, blah.
Oh my God.
Yes. I ended up hanging up on him. I immediately called my boyfriend and he was pissed. I have never heard my boyfriend so mad, but he told me that Thomas is a creepy weirdo and he feels so gross that he was best friends with him for years. I told him he might want to have a talk with HR just to be safe so that Thomas doesn't retaliate, and that the whole thing is insanely inappropriate, especially because he's his boss. I feel so bad for my boyfriend because he's lost his best friend and now his job will be weird at the very least. The thing about my boyfriend is he loves his job and takes it very seriously. At first, I felt like part of this was my fault. But after reflecting, I am happy I brought it to light because it sounded like Thomas was basically planning to do something much worse to my boyfriend. But it would be bad if you didn't listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. And there is a little bit left to the story. Any kind of thoughts?
Yeah, I think screw this guy.
Yeah, screw him.
Screw him.
He's not your friend.
Oh, he's bad. Bad guy.
My boyfriend has been sad today and took the day off. I really wish I could fix things. I think he's nervous about work and I don't blame him, but it breaks my heart seeing him like this. We did take my dog to the beach and my dog is such a goof that my boyfriend was laughing a lot. So that was good. Thank you everyone for all the advice, and I really wish things didn't play out this way. Comment 1 says, did you record the call when Thomas called you? Please save every single text and record every single conversation you have with him from now on. He thought he could guilt and pressure with him being his boss and all. Your boyfriend into being intimate with him? That's disgusting behavior. OP says, I didn't record the call and I really wish that I did. I genuinely assumed he was going to apologize, and it all just took me off guard. Thomas has blocked us on everything, so there really isn't much evidence of his gross behavior. OP needs to tell her boyfriend to get a lawyer. OP says he's going to talk to his uncle tomorrow, who is a lawyer, and ask him what he should do. We are both pretty clueless about what steps we need to take moving forward. And that is the end of that story, folks. Yeah, good luck, OP.
Yeah. Good luck. I refused my fiance's wedding wish. Now our marriage might be over already.
You're not getting your wish.
I'm a 30-year-old woman. I have been with my fiance, Sarah, for the last 5 years. We are the same age and we met at grad school. When I was 13, my loving dad passed away. He left a decent amount of money for us. My mom, within 6 months, got engaged to a guy named Bob. Bob had a daughter around my age. By the way, this comes from Deleted, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Sophia.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We're just going to guess what we would do in this situation, but let us know what you would do in the comments. So, my mom married Bob within a year of my dad's passing. Bob really hated me from the start and didn't even try to hide it. He was saying stuff like how my mom should have sent me to a boarding school, how if it wasn't because of my dad's inheritance, he wouldn't have me in his house, and he called me a slur because I was in our school sports team and very athletic. He multiple times told my mom that he doesn't feel safe when his daughter is around me, but I wasn't even around her yet. He used this as a reason to exclude me pretty much from everything. My mom, on the other hand, was going above and beyond to prove to Bob that she is the new mom for Bob's little princess. They ended up having 3 more kids. Wow. Basically, I was a roommate who did babysitting for my mom and her new family. I never had a birthday party or a special day. My dad's sister was amazing to me. I was at their place all the time. She and her family had birthday celebrations for me, and my mom was making excuses not to show up, and of course, the rest of them never showed up. I was really my aunt and uncle's daughter. They were amazing to me. When I left for university, I contacted my mom a few times, but she was always busy, so I just gave up. Here's the issue. Sarah, my fiance, comes from a very family-oriented background. Family is everything to her. Her family asked about mine. I said my dad passed away, and my mom is busy with her family and lives across the country. I didn't entirely lie, technically. She asked me to invite my family to our wedding. I told her no. She said it's very embarrassing not to have only my aunt and her family on my side. But I reluctantly invited my mom. She called and asked me to apologize to Bob and my step and half siblings for not inviting them and inviting them all. I told her no. She said that I'm being ungrateful and Bob was a father figure to me. I had a big argument with my mom over this. My mom now says that the only way she comes is if I invite Bob, his daughter, and their kids. Sarah is now pushing me to invite them all because she doesn't want to feel embarrassed in front of her family. Yikes. These people never even gave me a card or said happy birthday to me, so I see no reason to celebrate my big day with them. I, on the other hand, don't want to let my fiance down. I just don't know what to do. Should I swallow my ego and invite my family so my fiance will be happy? I suggested eloping, but Sarah is a firm no. Am I the a-hole to ruining my fiance's day by not fulfilling her wish? I appreciate it if you give me your honest opinion, as I am being pressured by everyone except my aunt to go against my wishes. And there isn't quick edit. Sarah knows everything about my life. My aunt even talked to her about how they treated me when I was growing up. And edit number 2, I will have a serious talk with Sarah tonight. I will try to update soon.
Good.
But
yeah, I think serious talk is good. You're about to marry this person.
Yeah.
You guys should be on the same page about,
Yeah.
like, you know, your relationships with other people and especially your family.
exactly. I think if this is something that ruins your fiance's wedding day,
Yeah, then she's not actually marrying you to marry you.
yeah, it's like you care then too much about what your family is
Yeah,
doing.
the
And
optics. Yikes.
And I kind of wonder, I mean, Sarah seems to have a good relationship with her family, but also like I wonder if there is some sort of pressure from them being family oriented to like push past problems.
Yeah.
So I wonder if she is kind of the mindset of like, well, yeah, but like that's kind of what we have to do.
Yeah.
So
maybe.
yeah. So, but conversation is definitely needed. But we do have some comments. Comment number 1 says, are you sure Sarah is the person for you? She seems pretty dismissive of your boundaries and feelings. OP says she was 100% before we got engaged. The whole idea of dream wedding completely changed her. There's a question of, did OP get proper therapy to deal with the abandonment and abuse from her mother? OP says, no, I haven't. I buried my head in my books when I moved out. I was working and finishing my degree. I started grad school right away, and that's where I met Sarah. I never had a real long-term relationship before Sarah. It was always casual because I was terrified of being abandoned, so I would always make sure that they knew that it was casual. When I met Sarah, I told her the same, but she said that she wasn't going anywhere because she liked me a lot. Our casual hookups turned into dating and love. And we do have an update. I sat Sarah down last night and explained my reasoning for not inviting my family. She kept saying, that was a long time ago. They might not be the same people anymore. I felt offended and said, how on earth are you lecturing me when you've never even met them? Well, it turned out my mother has been in touch with Sarah.
Did she like go through Sarah to try and get to you?
Yeah.
Who was the starter?
She trying to convince Sarah to convince you?
Uh-oh.
Sarah said they regularly meet for coffee dates and talk.
That would feel so incredibly invasive to me.
Yes.
Like if I had a family member or friend that like
Yes.
I had a very complicated relationship with and didn't want to
Yes.
see, to find out that my partner had been regularly meeting them without my knowledge.
Yeah. Even if I had a good relationship with this person, I'd be like,
Yeah,
oh,
that's
like
weird.
that's fine, but like that's weird that you didn't tell me this. Like
absolutely.
I was about to cry because I was so angry. My mom changed the whole narrative, saying Bob was a father figure, a good, protective dad, and that it was me who didn't love him back because apparently it's my thing to play the victim. She claimed my aunt manipulated me and stole me from their family, trying to be a replacement for my mom. According to her, it's all about my mother. I screamed, are you for real? Ask her next time on your coffee dates why I never had a birthday party growing up. Why was there never a gift under the tree for me? Ask Bob if he even knows when my birthday is, since he was such a loving dad. Why did my aunt have to pick me up before Christmas Eve because Bob wanted to spend the holiday with his kids, not with another man's mistake? Sarah basically repeated what my mom has told me my whole life. You just love to make a big deal out of everything. Make yourself a victim and push everyone away.
Yeah, this marriage is not going to work out. Too many
Yeah.
lies, deceit, and then blaming you for your complicated relationship.
After you explain it and she's
Yeah,
still
no.
like against you on this, that is terrible. I mean, even if it wasn't the mom's words, those are like such manipulative words to say to anyone, especially your
Yeah.
partner. I told her she had no right contacting my mom. She said I was cruel and claimed that she was just trying to help me mend my broken relationship. She even called my mom lovely and said Bob has changed a lot. He's now an LGBTQ ally now that his princess is out. I was floored. An ally? Maybe he should start by apologizing to me for terrorizing my entire childhood. I told Sarah we are done. I can't do this. Sarah sarcastically said, you just proved your mom's point. Go run to your aunt and let that old witch ruin your life. I told her she needs to find a new place ASAP, considering she's not paying rent. I am. She got mad and asked what excuse I was going to make up this time to justify my BS trauma. I stopped replying. I went on a tirade, breaking our dinner plates. I didn't care. I texted my aunt. She asked if I wanted to spend the night at her place. I said I was fine. Taking time off from work, I cleaned up the kitchen, which was full of broken dishware, in the morning because I didn't want my cats to accidentally get hurt. Sarah is still sleeping. I'm going to see how I can legally evict her. I'm a complete mess, but I'll talk to my aunt and uncle for help. Yes, I am not starting to date again until I see a therapist and work on myself. I can't keep going through this. And there are some relevant comments. Comment number 1 says, just curious, OP, if your family lives across the country, how is Sarah having regular coffee dates with your mom? OP says, I explained later. That was the lie that Sarah told her parents that I didn't correct. Yes, I shouldn't have lied to them. I should have taken the hint when she asked me to lie. We live in Lower Mainland, Vancouver, and my mom lives in Abbotsford, to be exact, if you want to check how far she lives away from us. Commenter number 2 says, where did you think your significant other was when she was gone for 2+ hours on a coffee date with your mom?
Yeah.
How did she do this weekly without you knowing? OP says, Sarah is between jobs. That's why I stopped charging her rent. I go to the office every day, probably during the day. I'll come back soon to answer more questions. I'm very busy now. And we do have an update. I still get DMs asking for an update. So 1, Sarah moved out. Finally. Her family cursed me and my aunt and uncle as they were packing her stuff. I asked my aunt and uncle to be there because I was terrified of her family, lol. Luckily, they didn't do anything crazy, just a lot of verbal attacks. 2, my mom left me a nasty voicemail. She said that I'm a worthless human being and blew the best thing that happened to me over some childish resentments. She said that that's who you are. Ungrateful, spoiled brat. Her husband apparently raised me, and I was ungrateful. Whatever, Mom. Leave me alone. By the way, I hope you never leave us alone. You continue to listen to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. I met with a therapist that I liked, but he is going to retire soon due to health issues, FML. He referred me to his colleague. So, new year, new therapists. 4, I'm not dating. I do a lot of social activities with my friends. Overall, I'm very happy. 5, the next step, who knows? Maybe save my money to take my auntie to a nice vacation. I don't have many plans, TBH. And that's the end of that story.
There you go.
Wow,